I'm Maya, 34, business operations manager by title, problem solver by nature. And I never thought I'd watch my brother's fiancée scam our entire family out of thousands of dollars just to exclude us from her wedding day. I've spent most of my life smoothing rough edges. That's what good operations people do. Find friction and remove it. It's the same approach I took with my family. We're not flashy, not dramatic, just steady. We make space for each other even when it's uncomfortable. My younger brother Ethan is the kind of man who thrives in that space. Kind, trusting, maybe too much so. He never kept score, never demanded anything. He was the one who would show up early to help Mom prep holiday meals or stay late to fix Dad's old car. We weren't perfect, but we were close. When Ethan introduced us to Nicole, I tried to see her the way he did. She was sleek, polished, worked in marketing, the kind of work where perception is reality. She spoke with precision, choosing words like a lawyer. She was the first person Ethan had dated who made me feel cautious. Still, I gave her room. That's what we do. I thought maybe she'd learn to relax with us, that our family's quiet, unvarnished love would make her feel safe enough to drop the performance. But that's not what happened. She studied us like a focus group, smiled politely, made mental notes. I could feel her measuring us, slotting us into categories I wasn't sure I wanted to know. I didn't say anything. Ethan was happy, and for me, that was enough. Or so I told myself. Looking back, I can see that first meeting clearly now. The way she watched us over the rim of her wine glass, the way she kept adjusting her hair even when no one was looking, the way Ethan glanced at her for approval after every sentence. At the time, I thought I was imagining things, that I was being territorial. But I wasn't. She just hadn't shown us yet what she was capable of. Nicole made her intentions clear the night they announced their engagement. We were all at my parents' house. Nothing fancy, just a family dinner that Ethan insisted on making special. He cooked lasagna from scratch, set the table with Mom's best plates. He even bought flowers for the centerpiece. When they arrived, Nicole had this radiant, effortless smile, but I could tell it was rehearsed. She wore a pale blue dress that matched Ethan's shirt, coordinated without being obvious. Ethan couldn't stop grinning. He cleared his throat 3 times before saying the words. "We're engaged." Mom clapped first, tears in her eyes. Dad patted Ethan's shoulder. I hugged him tight. Even I felt happy for him in that moment, watching his whole face light up with possibility. Nicole waited for the congratulations, nodding graciously. Then she passed around her phone to show off the ring, an oval diamond on a thin gold band. Understated, but intentionally so. "It's exactly what I wanted," she said softly. I caught Ethan looking at her like she'd hung the moon. Then Nicole cleared her throat, voice slipping into presentation mode. "We've been talking about doing a destination wedding," she announced. My mom blinked. "Oh, where were you thinking?" "Santorini," Nicole said. She didn't say it with excitement. She said it like it was inevitable. She pulled out her iPad, opening a detailed PDF. "I know it seems sudden, but I wanted to share the plan tonight so we're all on the same page. There are direct flights from here to Athens, ferry transfers, and I've already spoken to a planner on the island. It's going to be small, tasteful, elevated." She said elevated the way some people say holy. She scrolled to a page that had a cost breakdown. "We thought it would be easier if we split the expenses by category. Ethan and I will cover the planner and photography. We were hoping you could handle the travel and lodging for the family. It'll make it less stressful for everyone." My parents looked at each other. "That's generous of you two," Dad said carefully. Nicole smiled. I just want to make sure no one feels burdened. She said it like she was doing us a favor. I watched Ethan's face. He was nodding along, a little flushed, but clearly relieved that she'd handled everything. Mom was already asking questions about dates and travel agents. Dad was pulling out a pen. And I just sat there looking at that neat, polished plan. It wasn't that it was expensive, though it was. It was that Nicole had thought through every detail without asking us first. She was offering us the illusion of choice. And we were saying yes, because we wanted Ethan to be happy, because that's what families do. We all agreed to Nicole's plan that night. Maybe we didn't want to see the red flags, or maybe we chose not to. She sent us follow-up emails with line items, recommended flights, and links to the villa she wanted us to book. It felt professional, streamlined, too streamlined. She insisted all family contributions be wired to her account so she could coordinate everything seamlessly with the planner. My parents didn't question it. They were grateful she was handling the details. I asked Ethan once if he was okay with us sending money directly to her. He just shrugged. She's better at this stuff than I am. She wants it perfect. Nicole would text me now and then with little updates. Finalizing the table arrangements today, or choosing linens that match the view. She shared inspiration boards full of muted blues and sun-bleached whites. She was relentless in her vision. When Mom asked if we'd have input on the ceremony, Nicole replied, "Of course. I'm designing it to feel intimate for everyone," but her tone left no space for debate. I remember one call especially well. Nicole explained that for a cohesive aesthetic, she'd need us all to wear certain colors. She emailed swatches: pale gray for Dad, dusty mauve for Mom, navy for Ethan's best man. She didn't ask what people liked or felt comfortable in. She instructed. There were other signs. Nicole always avoided specifics when Mom asked about the guest list. "We're keeping it small," she'd say, or "We want to focus on quality over quantity." She praised herself for choosing a venue that limited attendance, saying it would keep things exclusive but not elitist. I noticed how she reassured Ethan anytime someone sounded concerned. She'd put her hand on his arm and say, "Don't worry, babe. I've got this. They'll see it's worth it." As the months went on, Nicole consolidated control. She handled every vendor. She communicated directly with the planner. She paid deposits with the pooled money from our family and assured us everything was moving along beautifully. If anyone asked for a receipt or invoice, she'd say she was waiting for the final package deal to save costs. She framed every decision as in our best interest. To simplify things, reduce stress, avoid confusion. And we let her. It wasn't that we were oblivious. We noticed the way she steered conversations, how she glossed over questions, how she made us feel naive for asking. But Ethan looked happy. He trusted her. He needed us to trust her, too. So we bit our tongues. I told myself she was just particular, that she wanted things beautiful, that it would all be worth it when we were standing on that cliffside in Greece, watching my brother say vows against a perfect sunset. We wanted to believe in her vision. We wanted to believe in him. And Nicole knew exactly how to use that. It all unraveled about 3 weeks before we were supposed to leave. Nicole sent a group message, short, corporate in tone. "Hey everyone, quick update about the wedding logistics. There's been a change. Due to local legal requirements and venue restrictions, we're going to handle the official ceremony privately, but you're all still welcome to come and enjoy the island." No apologies, no real explanation, just privately. I remember reading it 3 times before I understood. She was telling us we weren't invited. Not to the ceremony. Not to the vows. Not to the moment that justified the thousands of dollars we'd already sent her. My mother called me crying, her voice cracking like old glass. "I thought this was supposed to be for family," she kept saying. My father didn't say anything at all, just sat at the kitchen table staring at the printed email. Ethan didn't call us that day. I tried. I texted him. I called. Voicemail. Nicole responded to my messages with curt, polished replies. "It's complicated. We didn't expect the venue to have such tight restrictions. This is just how destination weddings work sometimes." But it wasn't. I started digging. Quietly. The venue's website didn't mention restrictions like she claimed. In fact, they boasted of intimate family weddings up to 30 guests. Their FAQ even explained how to include legal witnesses from your own guest list. When I pressed Nicole gently for details, saying Mom needed clarity before booking non-refundable flights, she replied with one line, "Maya, you're overcomplicating this. It's our day." Our day? That was the phrase that snapped something in me. Meanwhile, Ethan finally called my parents 2 days later. He sounded tired. He didn't apologize. He just repeated what Nicole had said. "It'll just be us for the legal part. You can still come hang out." As if we'd be happy traveling across the world to eat calamari on our own while they signed papers in secret. Mom said she wouldn't go. Dad agreed. They felt too embarrassed to tell friends they'd been uninvited from their own son's wedding. I asked Ethan if he really understood what was happening. He just said, "She wants it small. She wants it special." The final blow came a week later on Instagram. Nicole posted their wedding photos. Just her and Ethan on that cliffside. Her dress was elaborate, a custom design I recognized from the mood boards she'd shown us. The one she had told Mom would be too expensive if the family didn't help with costs. The caption read, "The most perfect, private day with the only person who matters. No audience, no drama, just love." The only person who matters. As if we hadn't mattered at all. I remember staring at that post in the dark of my bedroom. The polished photos, all glowing sun and ocean breeze, made it look like a luxury ad. Every detail we'd paid for was there. The flowers, the arch, the photographer she insisted on. It wasn't a scaled-down legal signing. It was the wedding she'd planned all along, only without us. The comments were full of admiration. "So chic. Love the intimate vibe. No offense, but this is goals." I read them all. Nicole liked everyone. My family didn't comment. We didn't know how. Ethan texted me a few days later with a photo of them at dinner, smiling, wine glasses raised. "Hope you're well. We'll catch up soon." Catch up? As if nothing had happened, I didn't respond. I didn't know how to say what I felt. It wasn't even anger, not yet. It was betrayal sitting in my chest like cold stone. Because she hadn't just excluded us. She'd used us. She'd taken our money, our goodwill, our trust, and built herself the perfect wedding, without us in it. After the photos went up, our family chat fell silent. No one knew what to say. We had spent months talking about Greece, sharing hotel links, discussing dresses. My mom had practiced her reading for the ceremony over and over, trying not to cry too soon. My father had renewed his passport for the first time in 20 years. All of it felt humiliating now. We didn't have a confrontation. That would have meant admitting out loud what she'd done to us. Instead, we each swallowed our embarrassment in private. Mom tried to sound upbeat on the phone, saying maybe Ethan and Nicole would throw a reception back home. Dad just worked late every night. I felt this quiet, vibrating fury under my ribs, but I didn't share it. I kept saying we should wait to see what Ethan said next. When he finally called, He sounded exhausted, defeated. He tried to explain. She didn't want the pressure, he mumbled. She wanted it to feel pure. He sounded like he was reading from a script she'd given him. I asked him, "Did you know this was the plan the whole time?" He didn't answer for a long moment. Then he said quietly, "She didn't want drama." Drama? That was the word Nicole always used like a weapon. Anything she didn't want to deal with became drama. Any pushback, any feeling. A few days later, she messaged me directly. I remember sitting at my desk at work when the notification popped up. "Maya, I hope you understand. It wasn't personal. We just didn't want to make a big show for people who wouldn't really get it." People who wouldn't really get it? As though my parents, who scraped together savings to make her dream wedding happen, weren't sophisticated enough to deserve a seat at the ceremony. I typed and deleted 6 responses. I wanted to ask if she had practiced that line in the mirror, the way she practiced everything else. I wanted to ask if she felt even a flicker of shame. But I didn't send anything, because I realized that was what she wanted, a reason to paint us as unreasonable, overly emotional, dramatic. I closed the message without replying. That night I sat with my parents at their kitchen table. Mom was folding napkins for no reason, just to keep her hands busy. Dad was scrolling on his phone, reading the news, pretending he couldn't see the red rims around Mom's eyes. No one mentioned the wedding. Instead, Mom asked me if I'd help her with the garden next weekend. Dad offered to fix the squeaky gate at my place. Small things. Quiet things. Our way of holding on to each other while everything felt like it was falling apart. I went home and sat in the dark, the blue light of my laptop screen washing over me. I opened Nicole's Instagram again, studying the photos, the dress, the bouquet, the arch. All of it looked like it had been ripped from a bridal magazine, and I realized we'd paid for all of it. We hadn't just been excluded. We had funded our own erasure. That thought settled over me like cold water. I felt my anger harden into something sharper. Not rage, resolution. Because Nicole thought she'd won. She thought we'd just absorb the insult, swallow the humiliation, and let her keep controlling the story. But she didn't know me as well as she thought. I wasn't going to scream at her. I wasn't going to embarrass Ethan further. I was going to show her that erasure worked both ways, and I was going to do it quietly, deliberately, because some lessons don't land when you yell them. They land when you take away the very thing someone used to hurt you. I didn't announce anything to my family. I didn't even tell Ethan. I just started gathering information. It began with the invoices. I had kept every email Nicole sent us, every bank transfer confirmation. I pulled them up late at night and made a spreadsheet. Each line was a reminder of our trust. $2,000 for hotel blocks she said she'd reserve. $3,500 for group transportation she promised to arrange, deposits for a dinner that never happened. She hadn't just excluded us, she'd taken our money and reallocated it. I knew enough about event logistics to see the gaps, so I started emailing the vendors directly, carefully, politely. "Hi, I'm following up on the group reservation we were meant to have." Most didn't respond at first. A few did. Apologetic, but clear. "There was no block reserved in your family's name." "Sorry, we only booked a 2-person elopement package." I saved every email. I also reached out to the photographer she bragged about booking, the one whose cost she'd split among us. Their social page had already posted a sneak peek of Ethan and Nicole's private shoot. I asked if there were additional group photos planned. The response was short. No group bookings. Contract was for a couple's elopement only. Piece by piece, it confirmed what I suspected. She had planned a private ceremony from day one. She just hadn't wanted to pay for it herself. I didn't share these details with my parents. They didn't need more heartbreak. They just wanted to forget. But I wasn't built for forgetting. So I kept digging. I read reviews about the wedding planner Nicole claimed required all these extra fees. Their website offered transparent pricing. Their standard elopement package was a third of what Nicole had collected. That was when I felt something click. She hadn't scammed us out of desperation. She'd done it out of preference. To have it exactly the way she wanted, perfect, curated, with no one else's input or presence. And she thought we wouldn't notice. Or if we did, that we'd be too polite, too embarrassed to say anything. She wasn't entirely wrong. We weren't going to sue her. We weren't going to drag Ethan into court. But that didn't mean she'd get away with it. I didn't want revenge that screamed. I wanted something quieter, more precise, the kind of correction she wouldn't see coming until it had already happened. So I made a plan. I organized every receipt, every vendor email. I made sure I had evidence of the wire transfers, the amounts she'd requested, her instructions. Then I started mapping out exactly where she held power and how to take it away. Because Nicole's real love wasn't Ethan. It was her image. And I was going to make sure that image cracked. I started with her professional network. Nicole was a marketing consultant, living off referrals and reputation. She thrived on being seen as the elegant problem solver, the woman who always delivered flawless results. That image was her currency. So I began quietly letting the truth circulate. I didn't blast her on social media. That would have been too easy for her to dismiss as drama. Instead, I chose precision. I reached out to a couple of her old clients, people I knew she'd pitched to using her wedding aesthetic as proof of her design sense. She'd sent them those same Santorini photos as examples of her taste and event planning skill. I asked them if they knew the backstory. I didn't tell them to cancel her. I didn't need to. Just the phrase, she actually asked her fiancé's family to pay for that wedding and then uninvited them, did the work. Quiet, casual, devastating. Then I submitted a few careful, anonymous posts to local wedding forums and vendor review sites. Nothing dramatic, just a calm, cautionary tale about someone who funded their private elopement by billing the family for a fake group event. Vendors paid attention. Word got around. I also contacted the planner she used in Greece. I forwarded the vendor emails and asked if they knew she was representing their work as a family-inclusive wedding when she'd actually bought the cheapest elopement package. The planner was not pleased. They updated their portfolio listings. I wasn't trying to humiliate Nicole publicly. I just wanted to make sure the people she needed couldn't forget what she'd done. Meanwhile, I compiled everything I'd found, every receipt, every email, and quietly shared it with Ethan. I didn't lecture him. I just handed him the evidence. He read it in silence. His face changed as he moved down the list. He didn't argue, didn't defend her. When he finished, he just said, "I didn't know." I nodded. "I know." He looked sick, like he wanted to throw up. He didn't call her right away. I think he sat with it for days. When he finally confronted her, I didn't hear what she said. But I know he didn't visit her for a week after. I didn't tell him what else I'd done. He didn't ask. He just stopped trying to sell us on her. Nicole, for her part, noticed things changing. She started posting vague messages about fake people and family betrayal. No one responded. Some local vendors quietly dropped her from their recommended lists. She lost out on a contract for an influencer campaign when someone shared the receipts. She didn't call me. She didn't threaten me. She just got quieter. And I let her. Ethan didn't break up with her right away. That wasn't how he worked. He never liked confrontation. But he stopped going to her place. Stopped answering her calls so quickly. When she showed up at my parents' house unannounced one afternoon, Ethan met her at the door. They talked on the porch. None of us could hear what was said. She left with her head high, but her eyes were wet. After that day, Ethan didn't mention her again. He didn't bring her to family dinners. He didn't show us photos or share updates. It was like she had never existed in our family story at all. And that was the point. She didn't get a dramatic scene. No big fight for her to spin as proof we were unreasonable. Just silence. Just absence. She tried to stay in our orbit for a while, commenting on old photos, sending Ethan polite, neutral texts. He stopped replying. And eventually, she stopped trying. She moved on to new clients, new networking events, new circles that hadn't heard the story yet. But our world, our family, closed the door gently. We didn't slam it. We just stopped inviting her in. I think about it sometimes, how simple it was in the end. No shouting, no public meltdown, just a quiet line drawn. We chose not to make room for someone who didn't see us as real people, someone who treated our love, our money, our trust as raw material for her perfect photo. We didn't get our money back, but we got our dignity back. Ethan needed time, but he came around. He started showing up to dinner again, talking without that guarded tone. He laughed more. He apologized once, not for loving her, but for not seeing what she was. I told him there was nothing to forgive, because that's family. We don't need perfection. We just need presence. Nicole's absence is a gift in its own way. We learned to ask better questions, to pay closer attention. And we stopped believing that people who want you silent will ever deserve your voice. That's my lesson. You can't control who someone chooses, but you can choose what role they get to play in your story. And sometimes, the kindest edit you can make is leaving them out.